Hello everyone, I'm Prenoun Zero. We are back again talking about a rumor going around that Sony executives are not happy with the initial Ghost of Yotei response and that the developers were blindsided with new female character. Now, I've said this before in previous videos, just because there's a female protagonist in the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima does not mean that it is woke or anything like that. I will say we'll wait for further information before anyone makes any real decisions as to whether or not the game is woke or intersectional feminism, as another word would be for this type of thing. But it's interesting to me that people don't see the honest path that Sony is going down. Obviously working with Sweet Baby Inc. for God of War Ragnarok, having character Rivet. Rivet was obviously a character people did like. They did make merchandise for that character, but they got rid of Joel. They got basically rid of Nathan Drake. They made him have a daughter for reasons other than just having a son. And they're pretty much getting rid of most of the male protagonists from their franchises. They don't have Resistance. They don't have Killzone. They don't have, Days Gone. And that was a complete flop. But let's get into this article, though, from That Park Place. Says, rumor, Sony executives not happy with initial Ghost of Yotei response and developers were blindsided with new female character. Now, again, it's all rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. A new rumor claims that Sony executives are seemingly not happy with the response to the announcement trailer for Ghost of Yotei, and that a number of developers were blindsided by the new female character, Atsu. Now, I don't 100% believe that whatsoever. YouTuber Endymion shared this information from an alleged insider. He said, apparently, Ghost of Yotei blindsided many people that were working at Sony, who were not made aware of what Sucker Punch was making. He added, quote, and that people in the mid-levels at Sony were actually confused when Yotei was announced because they were under the impression that Jin Sakai would be getting a sequel. Now, Jin Sakai is a character that people obviously enjoyed. That's why there was somewhat of an outrage to the character not being continued with a second game rather than a brand new game in a different setting 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima. So, Endymion also shared, and they are not happy at all when it comes to the response of that game, either internally at Sony right now. The game received mixed reaction, with a number of the top comments bemoaning Sucker Punch abandoning Jin Sakai's story. One lamented, imagine hearing about Jin as a legendary folktale quest. Another wrote, Ghost of was the best idea to stick with, this way they can tell loads of different stories from different eras, showing pretty cool characters. Now again, I also talked about this on yesterday's live stream, or someone was bringing up a bunch of games that had female characters, well-written female characters, and then claiming that gamers would apparently skip those games because they start a female protagonist, which majority of the franchises started with a male protagonist. And one of the things he showed was The Last of Us, which deleted off Joel, a character people liked, in a really dumb way, basically going against the entire character that was built up in the first game. So this is set in 1600, turn of the Sengoku Jidai period to Edo, 400 years after Jin Sakai wrote Defunct 140. 1603 is the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate, and Yotei is a major mountain in Hokkaido, northernmost island of Japan, which leads me to believe we'll be able to explore Hokkaido. Exciting stuff, lots to explore. Another share, Jin is literally a ghost now. RIP. So you can see people absolutely love the character of Jin Sakai, and they just wanted to see more games that had that character. It'd be like similar if they didn't continue Kratos' story in God of War. One person pilloried the game, comparing it to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Sucker Punch saw AC Shadow and went, I hold my sake. Another offered a similar sentiment. Ubisoft, we are finally introducing samurais to Assassin's Creed. Sucker Punch, here, hold my sake, for the second time. Quote, hopefully Jin is still going to be mentioned in the game, probably as a legend about how an 8-foot-tall demon called the Ghost beat the Mongols out of Japan, wrote Drifter While Hungry. Anren wrote, I never expected them to make this IP into an anthology series of different time periods and places in Japan. I think they made the right choice. Another shared Anu called Mount Yotei with Makariri Puri, or Female Mountain, and someone mentioned the mountain is believed to have the power to strengthen women's energy. What a way to choose a senior protagonist. This is what we call artists actually doing their research. And obviously they were honored by the island of Japan and all that stuff. Outside of the trailer, Sony and Sucker Punch were heavily criticized for featuring a female character in a formerly male-led franchise, with many pointing to Sony's diversity and inclusion policies. Brazilian gamer Brutus Rambo, the creator of the Sweet Baby Detective Steam curated list, and DEIdetective.com posted on X, quote, "But the female protagonist in the next Ghost of game is not because of DEI reasons." Below we have Sony's latest corporate report released yesterday. The signs are there. Don't be surprised if we discover things about this game in the future. You can see it all right there. You can go ahead and read that. YouTuber Dread Roberts also posted, quote, "Ghost of Yotei is Sony's next big game. To think that they wouldn't shove DEI into their most anticipated title is ignorant." I mean, they, again, shoved it into God of War, one of their biggest franchises ever, with the whole race swap of a Norse god to black. There are only so many signs that people can withstand before they start asking questions, and we're now at that point. Just because the 3-minute long trailer doesn't outright say it to your face doesn't mean it isn't there, but we should know this by now, he added. Ex-user Not Axel Carnage also wrote, quote, "As if it wasn't already written on the wall with the VA's beliefs and advocating of these type of things, etc. Now we know Sony is still pushing the agenda of DEI. This game is no different than AC Shadows, than the Self-Deletion Squad, and then Concord." Well, Concord was a complete flop. Apparently it cost $400 million to make, and they only made like $1 million. Midriel added, quote, "Ghost of Yotei is 100% going to be a woke DEI fest. No one really knows that for sure. I have to push back on that. We won't know until we see some further things. We've obviously seen people that have crazy takes on Twitter, but then they don't bring that stuff into the video game that they're working on, so we'll have to wait and see, at least in my opinion. Screw Sony. May they lose money hand over foot, and may their market value crash." Now, I believe that they're going to lose hand over foot with their PS5 Pro because it is an absolute scam that they're even putting out such a trash system for $700 with no disk drive, no vertical stand. So upwards of $800 for a complete system, probably closer to $850 for a complete system when you can just build a PC instead. I think that's absolutely one of the worst decisions Sony ever made, was to come out with a PS5 Pro. Former Sony chairman Sean Layden threw fuel on the fire when he reacted to a post from YouTuber Mighty Keith calling Endymion an absolute loser. Layden posted, "It's a game and entertainment, a story of team of creators believes in. They want to make this." He added too, "It's a game. If you don't like it, don't buy it. In fact, why not make the game you want yourself?" Yes, let us know how that went for Battlefield. It didn't turn out very well when EA told people, if you don't like it, don't buy it, when they made a stupid decision. On top of all this, Sucker Punch hired a radical activist in Erika Ishii to play Atsu, and casting directors have made it clear they cast individuals to push the DEI agenda and woke ideology. The Witcher casting director Sophie Holland told Acting Out via Variety, "I'm always the first to champion diversity in all its glory. Diversity for diversity's sake, not diversity of thought." One that springs to mind was the character of Yennefer on The Witcher. Well, Yennefer was a well-written character. Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich is the showrunner, and we work so well together, and she's so open to conversation. So they're talking about the Witcher series, not the Witcher the game, which the Witcher series was basically canceled. In the book, she's described as the most beautiful woman in the world. This was a few years ago, and I'd like to think things have changed. But when you think about people's unconscious bias, especially in the fantasy world, because people want the things that they've read to be true to the live-action material that you're using for that. You know, they want it to stay true. It felt like these words were predominantly white. No one ever said that. But it probably mentions that in the book. And I remember saying, I feel like we need to challenge what people think of as the standard of beauty. And having a woman of color in this role does incredibly powerful things to the people watching, she admitted. Again, if the character of Yennefer was a white woman in the book, people that have read the books would expect Yennefer to be white in the live-action version of The Witcher. It's similar to how characters that people have visually seen in comics, when they're brought to live action, they expect the characters to look close or similar to what they look like in the comics. Because again, these, obviously novels aren't a visual medium, but comic books are. Not only are individuals like Ishii cast to push the DEI agenda, but Ishii has a history of radical activism that she will likely amplify by using her role as Atsu. Again, we don't know this for sure. We've seen this before. It's not always the case. That activism includes, doing this. We've kind of already touched on this stuff. I've touched on this in a previous video, but all this, obviously she's a uber leftist. We kind of already know this. But at the end of the day, there's no way that Sony could be blindsided by this when they are the one running the studio creating the game. It doesn't make any sense How are Sony executives, how are the developers blindsided with new female character when they're the ones that created the female character? It doesn't make any sense. But again, Sony has gone down the path of replacing their male characters with female characters. They did this with Uncharted. They did this with The Last of Us. And who knows what they're... And now they're replacing Jin Sakai with Atsu. So, again, we'll see how it all shakes up. I don't... obviously take this rumor with a grain of salt. And as I've said, people can have crazy opinions online. But as long as they don't bring it into the entertainment that they're working on, it should be perfectly okay. So thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button, comment below what you feel about this, subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all that we will get a notification anytime I post a new video. Go live on this channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.